I'll tell you, I thought that we played magnificently in every facet of the game. Certainly we came today ready to play, swinging the bats. Connelly Early was outstanding again. Duke had a lot of opportunities there, and he buckled down and made the big pitches. Just really proud of him, and certainly the bottom of the fourth to the top of the fifth was a big swing in the game. They did a nice job getting to Connelly and getting those 3 runs in the bottom of the fourth, and I felt like the game was won when we responded in the top of the fifth, and that's what you have to do at this time of the year. There's going to be difficult points in the game, and you got to delete it and put it past you and be ready for the next inning, and we did that in the top of the 5th inning. I understand that Jake Gelof broke some records today here, RBI and home run record, and I'm not sure what they all are, but he had a terrific day. I said here yesterday that I had all the confidence in the world with him up at the plate yesterday with the game on the line, and he was just a couple of feet away from winning the ball game. But our team showed up today with a lot of enthusiasm, very focused and very loose. And so they have a lot of confidence in each other, and that's what it's going to take again tomorrow in a winner-take-all tomorrow.
We'll take coach or questions for student athletes matchup.
Jake, let me ask you about the 2 at-bats. First one from yesterday's game, when it came off the bat, you put your hands on your helmet. Did you think it was out, or did you know in the 9th that it wasn't?
I know I got off the end a little bit. I was just kind of hoping for it, but yeah, I knew I didn't. It was fastball, kind of like up and away, so it's it was a little tough to get the barrel to it if you're pulling it. So I knew I got off the end, so I didn't think it was going out. Went a little further than I expected. So.
Well, the one today, there was no doubt about that one. What were your emotions seeing that go over the plate season?
Yeah, I was just excited. Had my boys in the stands here today, so it was awesome seeing them. And then my boys in the dugout getting hyped, so it was awesome.
Who are your boys in the stands?
There was a lot of them there today. My Rehoboth boys.
Got a question?
Yeah, Jake, it's not been the postseason you probably wanted so far. Just how do you kind of mentally put that aside and just kind of get ready for each new day, especially after yesterday just coming so close? Yeah,
I wouldn't put it the way that this isn't the way the postseason I've wanted it to go. Through my years here, it's not easy to win a regional, let alone sweep it. We dealt with a lot of adversity, in game 1, and so that's a credit to Oak is being a leader and having us bounce back. Myself freshman year and then this year as well. So we just got a big game tomorrow. That's what we're worried about.
Connelly, how much did your start against East Carolina last weekend and the way you played help you today, if at all?
Honestly, it's a completely different team. So I don't think it helped too much. Maybe built a confidence a little bit. But I think the biggest thing was just our offense coming out hot today. Griff O'Farrell set the tone right off the bat. And, when the first batter of the game takes the ball deep, the crowd's going to get into it. And the UVA fan base today was crazy. That's what we needed. Needed them to help us bounce back and set us up for a good game tomorrow. Yeah, like I said last time, I think 1 through 9, we trust everybody with the bat. Same with the pitching staff. Whoever has the ball, we have the utmost confidence in them, and we expect them to go out and do their thing, and we trust them with all their stuff. So, we have the confidence every time Jake's up. We have the confidence every time anybody's up. So, we're hoping everybody's going to pull through, and we'll see that tomorrow.
Connelly, David Teal with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. The Duke players and coach all said that they thought you had command of 4 pitches today in the zone. Did you feel that way on the mound?
Yeah, I felt like I had pretty good command of my stuff today. Just trying to get ahead of batters is the biggest thing. Going 0-1 to start yourself off on all those at-bats is huge because it makes the hitter a little more defensive at the plate. So, trying to fill up the zone, limit the free bases is always a huge key that our pitching staff has. So that's what I try to do, go out there today and give our team a shot.
Greg.
Greg Waters of Saber.com. Connelly, this is for actually both of you. You said how excited and how just revved up we've got the fans when Farrell hit that home run. What did it do for you guys in the dugout and just seeing that happen early on late in the game?
Yeah, I don't know how many times it's been this year, but it seems like it's almost every time that Griffo Farrell's on base when he leads off the game. I swear he's got to be batting like 600 or something to lead off the game for us. So when he took that ball deep, I mean, that's for you to determine from a hitting standpoint, but from a pitching standpoint, it gets the juices flowing, get you ready to get out there and do the job. You don't want to say anything?
I'm all good.
26 first inning hits for Griff this year. David.
Jeez.
Jake, Coach was talking about how loose you guys were today. Where does that come from?
It comes from, our coaching staff, preparing us in the fall. It's a long fall, and then leading up to the spring, and then, throughout the whole year of, just being able to, I talked about it earlier, is just, staying in our approach, and just being prepared so you're not having to change a whole lot, whether it's, now it's postseason baseball. We've been prepared for this, since I got to grounds as freshman and, since everyone else has gone to grounds, whether they're freshmen or transfer. So it's just about, being prepared, in the fall and leading up to that. So.
Jake, you mentioned your freshman year. You guys lost game 1 of that super regional as well and came back and won the last 2. Do you take that experience and use it as confidence for this experience?
Of course. Yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about that. Kind of nailed it on that.
Shaka.
Shaka from D1 Baseball. Connelly, last week you guys talked about coming from Army, the potential to add on some weight to improve your stuff a little bit. Also to help make kind of a workhorse down the stretch here, but how were you able to use that little extra velocity today? It seemed like you've reached back a couple of times to get 92s, 93s after being sitting 89, 91 most of the time for some of those strikeouts in some big situations.
Yeah, in those big situations, I don't think it's really has to do with like the added weight or anything. I think it's the fans. When the fans start clapping, fans start cheering late in those counts, it definitely gets the adrenaline going a little bit. That's probably why I was up there a little bit on some of those strikeouts. But yeah, I think that's what I would contribute that to.
Any other questions for student athletes? All right, guys, you guys are excused.
You guys can go.
Sure.
Or you want to stay? You want to stay?
Thank you, guys.
Stay if you want.
All right, questions for Coach. Jeff?
Brian, you said after the game yesterday you were confident there would not be a carryover from yesterday to today, and obviously there wasn't. When you win a game like this, is there momentum you take into the next game, or is it a clean slate, every game is separate entity?
Well, I think you feel like you still have a shot. That's what we gave ourselves a chance to. We have a chance to play one more game, and that's what we did today. That confidence in how the team is gonna go about their business and be prepared comes from what you see all year long. I've talked a little bit about the poise that this team has. When you have guys like Jake Gelof and Kyle Teal and a number of others that have been in this moment before, you don't try to motivate them. I don't give them motivational talks. I don't, send them things. You don't have to, because of our approach is, next game. I know it's said a lot in sports, but it's really important in this sport that you look at it that way. And, I know what those guys are made of. I know how much it means to them. I know how much they put into it. Both teams have, and I just feel, I've always believed at this time of the year, the calmer, more poised warrior wins most of the time. And so that's individually and collectively as a group. And so I do my best to keep my emotions under control, because kind of the the hay's in the barn. You've prepared them. It's a matter of, them going out and being loose and having fun and letting their ability take over and clutch pitches or plays or key moments. When those happen, they're not tense. They believe in themselves and they give themselves the best chance to deliver.
Dave?
Brian, Jake now has more home runs and more RBIs than anyone who's ever won. You can't anticipate that when you recruit a young man, but what
Yeah.
did you think of him when you recruited him, and how has he evolved?
Well, I'm just so proud of him. He works incredibly hard. As he mentioned, the prepared word describes Jake Gelof for me. He's prepared every day that he shows up to the ballpark. I'll never be able to thank his brother enough for calling me one day and saying that, that Jake's going to open up his recruiting, and asked if I would consider him. And so I'm thankful that, we had the opportunity to get another younger brother. And it took me about 25 games his freshman year to put him in there. And when we did, he changed our team his freshman year. I remember that year being in Omaha and Kyle Peterson from D1 Baseball asking me, boy, he just swings out of his you-know-what, every time he's up there. Are you ever going to try to work with him on a two-strike approach and things like that? And I said, KB, no. I just love his recklessness that he goes up there with. I love it. And because I know that if they make a mistake, he's got a shot to hit it out, and he's just a great player. It's not just the home runs though, David. It's how about the base hit the other way where they're shifting him, and he stays inside a ball and doesn't try to do too much and hits the ground ball the other way. That was a big hit, and so who knows? It's taken what the University of Virginia has had baseball for 120 years, and this guy owns the record. Who knows whether it'll ever be broken again? I don't know, but I'm sure glad we have him for one more game.
Why did it take you 25 games to put him as a freshman?
Yeah. There were other guys that had earned the opportunity. I wasn't quite sure where he was going to play, and then just decided to plug him in at first base, and it just made a huge difference for us. I think about in the regional and super regionals, the big hits and the home runs that he had. Even though we had other guys that were great players, him and Kyle Teal were huge in those two tournaments to help us get to Omaha that year. And, sometimes it takes a coach a little bit. It took me a little bit to figure out this year that Anthony Stefan was the right guy to put in the DH. And once, I put him in there and stuck with him, he has performed all year long on a consistent basis for us. So it takes a little while for things to shift out in a season at times, and that's just another great example. And he's went on to have a hell of a career.
You only had to use Connelly and Jack today. How do you feel about your pitching going into a game 3?
Yeah, I feel good. The plan was to use either Jack O'Connor or Brian Edgington at the end of the game, and to try to save our bullpen, give them a day to everybody can rejuvenate a little bit and be ready to go tomorrow. Brian Edgington will start tomorrow for us on the mound, and we'll have all hands on deck, including Jack O'Connor if we need it.
Chris?
We've talked a lot about Ethan Anderson's bright future. His present's pretty bright right now too. That you talked about the top of the fifth, but with runners on, for him to get that one out of the park, it will swing the game back.
Yeah, it was the biggest swing of the game. There were a lot of hits today on both sides, but Ethan's 3-run home run was the ball game. And like I said, in the bottom of the fourth, they got 3 off Connelly, and we responded back and got a couple of guys on base to give him a chance to do that. And Ethan Anderson's he's a warrior. He's very talented, but his mental approach and his competitiveness is as good as you'll see, and just have a lot of confidence in him.
Preston and Jerry?
he hasn't had an RBI up until today. Just what does it say about this team? Just I know y'all talked about picking each other up
Yeah.
along the way, but when he gets going, kind of what it does to the lineup.
So Jake didn't have a postseason RBI until today? Oh, wow. Didn't know that. You know, that shows that, you know, he didn't press. He continued to stay with his good approach, and that was huge for us today, for him to have the kind of day that he did. And again, it speaks to the depth of our lineup that we have, that we can win games without the guy that's the home run king delivering for us. And so that said, it's going to take everybody tomorrow. You know, Duke's got an excellent ball club. And so it's going to take all of them having a great approach and putting up great at-bats all day long tomorrow. Jerry?
Connelly, his pitch count was getting pretty high, and you know, guys kept riding with him. Just talk about his grit and his performance today.
Well, I guess for 2 years, when you train the way that young man did at West Point, certainly it instills something in you that I love, you know. And so he's made a little bit different. He's a very competitive, determined kid that has taken a different journey than anybody else on our ball club. Now, listen, I don't care what anybody says. You go to Army West Point for 2 years. I mean, I got 1 year, 1 semester. I don't care how long it is. I have huge admiration for you, whether it be the Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy. So, you know, I think a little bit of that, I'm sure, helps him, of what he learned in his 2 years there. And I wasn't going to take the ball out of his hand, you know, even though they did a nice job against him in the bottom of the 4th inning. He kept going out there and making pitches, and we needed length. And he didn't, you know, there was a time when there was runners on first and second, 2 outs, and we had somebody ready in the bullpen, and he just looked at the dugout and pounded his chest to say, it's mine, you know. And not only did he finish that inning, he went out there and went one more, which I thought was really, really key for us. And it doesn't surprise me. The kid's had a magnificent year. So to go 12-2 at this level, pretty remarkable.
Jeff?
This is, today was the 4th straight sellout here.
Mhm.
Playing for, I'm sure tomorrow's sold out.
Yeah.
How much has the home field advantage helped?
Oh, I think it helps. There's no question. I mean, when you wear this uniform and you step in that batter's box or on the mound or in the field, and you see all around you orange, and you see the support. There were a couple of moments in today's game where the crowd got up, and you could just feel the energy, and you know, that's an earned opportunity. You know, that's because of the body of work that you do all year, that you have the opportunity to play in your ballpark and be the home team tomorrow, because we've earned that throughout the year, and I think it makes a huge difference.
Your season is on the line today, but now tomorrow Duke season is on the line. Do you change your approach or mentality in any way to prepare?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, you know, it doesn't. We don't change it at all. You know, it's one game. You know, and obviously we all know what's at stake. They know what's at stake, and that's what makes it great. You know, that's why these young men go to Duke. That's why they go to Virginia, is to have an opportunity to play in a game tomorrow of the magnitude that it is. And that's what we talk to young men about in the recruiting process, that, you know, I think maybe in the 20 years that I've been the coach here, I think there's maybe only 2 recruiting classes that haven't been to Omaha. And I'm proud as hell of that, right? Because we talk to them about that in the recruiting process, that not only can you come here and get one of the great degrees in this country and play in a great league and develop your skill set to play at the highest level beyond college, you also, they all want to play in Omaha, you know, and each team has that opportunity tomorrow.
Take one last question.
Coach, can I just ask you one question just about the work that Drew Dickinson has done with your staff and
Yeah.
and your bullpen?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on it?
Drew Dickinson's a very talented pitching coach. You know, when our pitching coach job was open 4 years ago, you know, I did an exhaustive search in professional baseball and college baseball, to hire the right guy, because we've always had a trademark here of great pitching, and he's doing an exceptional job getting the most out of each and every one of our guys. And, you know, I don't think a pitching coach should be judged by how many top prospects they have. Certainly we've had many here in my time here. You're judged by, would you get the most out of what you have, right? And he certainly has done that and done a great job of leading that group and getting them to believe in themselves and execute.